Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anchor of the Week, where we have hard conversations, hear people's stories, and challenge perspectives. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Zach.
And we are coming at you from Norway.
Way! Come on.
Yes, we are so excited. We've been spending the past couple days. We got one more day left here, traveling around a little bit. We've got some great content for you guys.
Yes. Yesterday we were in Kristiansand. I think I said that right. And
the best that we can do.
Yes. And we actually had a couple interviews with people who, I think it's fair to say that they have significant roles within their communities.
Yeah. Big community impact.
Yes. And we just wanted to dive into, I guess, why they do this and what they do exactly, and just, talk about that, I guess. And we had some good conversations. So we're going to tune into that in a bit. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that. Or?
Well, no, I just think it's so cool. This is our first one outside of the UK.
Yes. First away trip.
First away trip, yes. And it's just exciting to see, because we do this all the time with London, hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
We are more accustomed to that kind of way of life.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to hear how things are going on in other parts of Europe.
Yes. So let's tune in.
All right, we are here now with Jürgen. Thank you so much, Jürgen, for taking the time to come and talk with us. We are here. Can you, first of all, explain where we are? Because this is a beautiful room.
Yes, right now we are in what we call the City Council meeting room. So we have meetings here once a month. So we had a meeting yesterday, and I just explained about our coat of arms. So we have a lot of beautiful Christian symbols there.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we're here obviously because you are a part of the Norwegian. It's City Council.
Well, I have many roles,
yeah.
But I'm a deputy member of Norwegian Parliament. But I'm also I've been a mayor here for many years. So and now I'm a city councillor here. Yeah.
Amazing. So you know this city. You know it well. You've seen it, I'm sure, grow and change throughout the years.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah. Is there anything that you've noticed that now is the biggest difference than when you started?
Well, we are seeing a lot of youngsters who are having troubles with anxiety and stuff. And today in today's newspaper there is a beautiful article about how Christian youngsters are having less problems.
Really?
There is this Barnaby report or something.
Okay.
So it's very interesting, and this writer, he writes about this and how Christian youngsters are having less problems than people are not believing in God. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And briefly, when we were talking just before this interview, you were thinking about going into a full-time role, obviously in a few years when the re-election happens and things like that. What's your vision or heart for this place? Like, obviously, going into a big position like that, you've got to have some kind of, dream for this place.
Well, I'm with a party in English it's called Christian Democrats, and we are also, when people talk about us, they call us the family party. So
the family party.
Family party.
Nice.
So we are very into family values and stuff like that, to say it that way. So that's of course making people not divorce and keeping people together and helping in ways like that.
Yeah. Is that something you see quite a lot here, or just in general, like obviously you're trying to keep unity and bring unity to this place?
Well, but we are seeing in Norway that the last 10, 20 years we're becoming more and more secularized, and I guess we're seeing stuff like that all over Europe. So right now we are looking to the US and seeing, especially when it comes to abortion, how the tide has turned there. So that's really an inspiration for us in Europe, what happened in the US lately.
Yeah, wow. And I hope I'm saying this right, Kristiansand? Is that
that's in Norwegian it's called Kristiansand. It's actually because the king was Christian IV, who founded the city in 1641, and sand means it's founded on a sandbank from the river.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Very simple. Yeah.
Okay, that should help. Kristiansand. Just make sure I say sand at the end. Is it different to the rest of Norway?
Absolutely, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like southern states. I mean, in the US we have
even just in like the values and the things. That
oh yes, indeed. Yeah, it's totally different in the south than my party, for instance. We have like 1% of the votes in Oslo, which is the capital, and here we have like 10 to 15% from municipality to municipality.
Right. What are some other kind of, just things that I guess. Because we don't want to just focus on the things that this place lacks and things that you want to. But what are the good things and things that kind of almost Kristiansand is known for in this area, especially compared to other places?
Well, we have obviously we have a lot of churches here, and what I love about them is that they've gone together and they formed an alliance, and right now it's called it's hard to put it into English, but it's City for Everyone, something like that. Yeah, it's nice, and it's inspiration from South Africa, something called City Changers. So right now, all these church leaders are coming together once a month, and we are saying, what can we do? Can we help, orphanage? Can we help in when it comes to drugs addicts? Can we in alcohol problems with making marriage courses and so on. So it's a lot of different things. So the municipality now tries to cooperate with them in many ways, and I love that. So we have a lot of volunteer work, and that's I think that's typical for this city, that and more typical than the rest of Norway, that we have so many churches and so many people who are willing to spend time. And in 2015 we had this wave of refugees, especially from Syria. We had 31,000 refugees coming in. And then we had this fantastic thing happening because then I asked the church leaders, can you become volunteers for these refugees? And we had like 200 people who volunteered. And then this woman who was in charge in Kristiansand in the municipality for doing this, she said, this is a great idea. Let's do that for all refugees. And then the municipality asked, is there anyone who wants to be a volunteer? And they got zero, nil. Nobody wanted to. But when the pastor asked, "Do you want to become a volunteer to help these refugees?" Then we had 200. So that really explains the picture here. We have to, as a city, as a municipality, we have to cooperate with churches and volunteer organizations. And what happened was that these people, they became like. We have this like a godfather. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean for this. So they took these people, these refugees, and they took them to to the city center. They took them to an amusement park. They took them home for a dinner, and then that's when the magic begins, because that's when people meet. They start to talk. Yeah. They build down barriers between them. So it was just a really beautiful story, But when we asked as a city, nobody said yes. But when a pastor asked, then a lot of people said yes. So that's beautiful.
It's so interesting, yeah. I wonder how we can, or how you guys, I mean, we as if like I live here, but how do we install that same heart into, this is quite an on-the-spot question, put you on the spot here, but how do you install that same heart that, the church or voluntary people have into like your everyday people? Does that
No, I don't know.
So as in, like, obviously when the pastor asked, people said yes, whereas before when we asked, people hadn't said anything. So for me that shows, like, obviously the church and the people in the church have a bit more of a heart for this sort of thing. And so how do we install, like, how do we multiply that same heart for everyone? It's really hard, isn't it? I wonder if that's something you've thought about, or
I don't know, but there is at least there is something here that when a pastor asks, then
it's taken seriously.
Yeah, and if he or she does that in a church. But I've also been part of YWAM, Youth for a Mission in Hawaii, and there we talked about God's kingdom into all spheres of society. Yeah. So I think if we are able to transfer that spirit into all different spheres of society, and people who are also Christians with other professionals and so on, I think it's possible. Yeah. But it's a very good question, but hard to answer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I think it's true, right? Stepping into whatever sphere or whatever gifting or industry, maybe you're already in, and I think that is a big thing. But I also think that it's going against a lot of the individualism that
Absolutely.
I know that the world is struggling with, but especially Europe. I feel, from moving from North America to Europe, I can feel that, it's kind of everyone is on their own, but the fact that you can bring people together and have this community effort, I think is a really beautiful thing. And I'm even just wondering that, have you found as society gets more individualistic, any more resistance against people coming together, or not even?
I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly, but what I think is at least typical for southern Norway is that it's less individual and more group thinking than probably the rest of Norway. But that's my point of view, of course. Maybe people in other parts of Norway would say differently, but that's at least my point of view, and I think that's nice. It's beautiful because we need less individuality and more thinking as a group and as a family and as a society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could not agree more.
Amazing, yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jürgen, for your time. This has been amazing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you're super busy, but to talk with us, people from London, all over the world, I know are going to be so excited to hear what you have to say. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're here with Stefan. So I think I said that right. Yep, brilliant.
Yeah.
I always never know because of Norwegian names. Anyway, so thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate your time, genuinely. I know you're the manager here. We're at a skate park. Do you want to just give us a little brief background and just what you do here, and then we can dive into conversation?
Yeah. So as you said, I'm the manager of this skate park, activity park. It's originated in 2009 by a cool guy named Mike Troxel. He's from the States, and he saw a need here in Kristiansand, and it becomes this. It's a lot bigger now. It used to just be a skate park.
Yeah.
So Blue Cross overtook it in 2017, and we have been starting up esports and parkour and stuff like that as well.
Brilliant.
So it's a fun place to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Obviously, we'll ask you a couple questions about this place, but we know obviously we want to dive into what you have a heart for as well.
Yeah.
So you offer these things. Is this a big part of the community here? Do the kids come here a lot? Is this used frequently?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, we would love for the kids in the city to use it more often.
Mm-hmm.
After Corona, obviously, it's
Sure.
it's taken a toll.
Yeah.
So we would love for more kids to use it, and our kind of vision for vision is to create a space for creativity and mastery and meaning. Like mastery leads to meaning in life. If you master something, good at something,
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, that's what we believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So we're trying to cover what football doesn't cover,
Right.
or handball or
Yeah.
those kind of sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of age group is this? Do you mainly attract?
From 8 to the oldest guy here is 54.
Wow. So
Yeah.
very, very varied.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So what's your role? I mean, obviously, as a manager, you run the place, but
Yeah.
also I know you have a heart for youth in general.
Yeah.
Do you want to just explain where that comes from?
Yeah, I would love to do that. So, as a kid, I was bullied a lot,
Right.
and kind of came from that place and didn't have self-esteem in any way. So I was struggling a lot with that, and suicide thoughts and stuff like that for a long time, many years actually. But I always wanted to get to know the bully, kind of.
Right.
What's in his heart? What's his struggles? Why is he being mean? Kind of.
Right.
So that's where it all originated started in my life. So it was this younger group of youth, a couple of years younger than me, and they were doing criminal activity and drugs, and they were the typical bully, and I grew a heart for those guys. And so I did a DTS and stuff like that, and then I came home and I was like, okay, I have an education on like building railroads and high power electrician stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like this on the same
Page.
page. So how to get in touch with these kids? So I started working as a volunteer in a wonderful organization here in Kristiansand called KUP. Is a Christian youth group that, well, all the kids there are sent from the social teacher at schools. So they have a struggle, or like they're struggling in life. They have a family, maybe they're drug addicts, or they can't follow up their kids and stuff like that. So I started doing volunteer work there, and after a year or two, I got a job there. So my job was to work with, at that time in Kristiansand, there were a lot of planned, like, mass fights. So there were 12 guys who was kind of running
Like a
stuff
gang,
in,
or-
yeah,
Yeah.
like a gang,
Sure.
sort of.
Yeah.
So I just got a list from the police, and we want you to work with these kids.
Wow.
Wow. And that was really cool. I mean, and one of the guys on the list, I knew him from before, so I just contacted him, and he introduced me to all his friends. And so my role was just to get them out of the city and do fun stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds like
A great. Yeah.
So that was a great job for me, and it was full of meaning and full of life, and I got to know the bully, and
Wow.
they're struggling as same as I did, and they're struggling with self-esteem, and it's the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was I got to work with those kids for 2 years, and then the money just disappeared, and the commune couldn't maintain the project anymore. So that's been my journey. That's how it started, and so I always wanted to work with the bullies. And so when the money ran out, I went to Red Cross.
Yeah.
And I started this street mediation. So I've been teaching kids, the same group of people, street mediation here in Kristiansand. I have had 250 kids and teaching them how to do conflict resolution.
Wow.
So that's kind of,
A
I feel
general
like,
gist,
I feel like God is just leading me in these areas. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing. Like, you clearly have a gift of seeing people for who they actually are, and that empathy. And I just want to take a moment to say that as well, because that is not something that comes super naturally to everyone, you know, but the fact that you can actually look at someone and see them for who they actually are, not who they project themselves to be, I think is something very amazing and very inspiring and challenging, if I'm going to be honest. Because I don't think a lot of people would have the courage to want to get to know the people that are hurting them. So first of all, that's amazing, incredible. Definitely going to take that home with me. So we're leaving off now, right? And so you're working with the Red Cross, it was that you said, right? And you're doing kind of the same thing that you were doing. But how does now skateboarding and just kind of that side of things come in? Like, where do you have a background in that? What's your...
No, I used to be a skateboarder when I was 15.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I was never any good. But I feel like a lot of kids that start skateboarding and parkour start off because they don't necessarily belong in any other sports. Like, they kind of, like, my view on it is that they are on the outside of the main group, and like in a city as Kristiansand, it's hard to step out of, and in general everywhere I think it's hard to step out of the ordinary. So I wanted to get to know these people as well, and I know that a lot of youth uses sports to kind of escape reality, and and I feel like most of the best skaters are in that position that they are escaping from something. And what is really cool with skateboarding, especially skateboarding, is it's really hard. So you got to put your mind into it, and you got to practice the same trick over and over and over and over. So perseverance.
Wow.
So that's what I think is cool with skateboarding and parkour and these activities, is the perseverance of it. They never give up. Like the best skaters, they never give up.
Yeah.
And it's really creative. And there's no rules in skateboarding. So I feel like people get saved finding an activity that gives them meaning and mastery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked at the start about how like the bullies were no different to you, like the same struggles, self-esteem, everything like that. So what do you think it is that triggers the bully side? Do you think it's just the way they just, this is what I struggle with, and this is just the way I have to project it, or?
I think sometimes it's upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
Parents, where you're from, the culture in your family, and just a need of survival, kind of.
Right.
I survive if I become the comedian. I survive if I bully.
Yeah.
I survive.
Yeah.
Kind of.
No, this is so good. It's so true.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I was kind of getting inward and punishing myself, which, I mean, isn't good for anyone. So where my needs was filled, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like bullies have every human being have a need to be to be seen.
Yeah.
So if you were the bully, you get your needs
That way.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Wow. So how is your kind of, I guess me looking at it in your situation where you were helping the 12 people,
Yeah.
was it hard to relate with them at first, or was it
No.
very easy to go straight in? Obviously, I think if God's put you in there, then there's a reason for that as well.
I don't know, but it was really easy.
Yeah, no issues.
I mean, it was just showing up outside of McDonald's and say, "Hey, let's just hang. I have all this money. Do you want to come with me?
Yeah.
Do you want to come do cool stuff?"
Yeah.
That was easy, and
Right.
I have food.
Yeah.
Come eat with me.
Right.
So that's the easy part.
Right.
Getting a relationship and getting it as strong as you need it to be to do to correct their life, kind of.
Yeah.
Like give pointers. You shouldn't do this. You
Yeah.
should do this. I can help you get into this study if you go do drug tests.
Right.
Stuff like that. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
To get into that space where you can be honest.
Mm.
And some of the guys I got to know in that way,
Mm-hmm.
and you can almost say anything. Like they will follow you to the end. And I'm still in contact with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I got a message. I just got my license. Can
Wow.
Can I come visit you?
Wow.
And we had a coffee here, and yeah, some of the guys are doing well. Some of the guys are in jail.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your future then? I mean, I guess that's a big question.
Well,
Let me tone that down a little bit. As in, I guess what would you love to be doing going forward? I know you're working here at the moment, but what do you have a real heart to see in the future?
Well, if you asked me a year ago, I would have an answer, but these days, I don't really know what my next step is. Actually, my last day here is tomorrow.
No way.
No way.
Wow.
So
Speaking just in time.
Yeah, we have.
um, So I don't really know. It was always my dream to start a youth center, like an epicenter for youth who doesn't belong. That was always kind of my dream, and starting businesses out of that, because we have so many kids in this town and Norway and
Yeah.
probably everywhere that they're never gonna get a job. No, they're never gonna finish school. So it would be cool to have a center that starts up small businesses,
Right.
because I know they have a lot.
Yeah.
They have a lot of ideas, but no one ever listens. So that would be cool. But I don't know.
Yeah.
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 That would be my dream.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Wow. What a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time,
Yeah.
Stefan. I really, genuinely, really enjoyed that. Don't know if you have any last. Yeah.
And I think, like, yeah, as you may not know, like, the next step, but I think just to see someone that has such a heart for, like, a need in their community is a really big thing. And this is the whole reason why we're going around, is to meet people that are making an impact in their communities and who have an actual heart for it. So we're excited to see whatever that next step is. But as you said, thank you so much for taking that time today. Again, your second last day, which we did not even know. So this is
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, it really means a lot to us. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. That was awesome.
Right. Thank you, Jürgen and Stefan, if you are watching this.
Yes.
Yes, we had some good conversations there. Big highlight for me, just straight into it. I loved Stefan's heart. I guess we actually had, let's be completely real and honest here, we had a really nice time actually after
Yeah.
post interview with him, just about his heart for the youth and just where he does, just I guess why he does what he does and why he
Yeah.
does, he's involved in the things that he's doing. And I loved, it was so fresh and so real to
Yeah.
see, I guess, someone's heart behind this, you know? I think it's, I don't know, this happens in other parts.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, I guess,
Yeah.
face to face in another country, someone who's just as enthusiastic about something and just as passionate.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Yeah, it really showed afterwards. Yeah, we had a time to pray for him and stuff like that.
Yeah, it
So
was really
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
But exactly that, like the passion and just like there's such like a realness, and I think that is what makes, you know, community impact a thing. Like you can have a great idea, you know, or like a good goal that would theoretically impact a community.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that heart and that passion, and I loved as well, like he was talking about his journey through it, you know, and like wasn't like he was like living his ultimate goal right now,
No.
but his heart was still there. And I think that was just super, honestly, challenging and encouraging. And I feel like no matter who we are or like what we're kind of going through, we can relate to that to a certain extent, right?
Oh,
Because
for
it's
sure,
like,
for sure.
you know, we all have these things on our heart or these things that we believe in or that we want to fight for. You know what I mean? Or like anything like that. But a lot of times it doesn't happen the way that we think it should happen.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool to see, like, even if circumstances change, like, is your heart, you know, for that change?
Yeah. But I genuinely
Still, yeah.
believe you will burn out if you're not doing something you're passionate about or something that is on your heart, you know? And I appreciate there are seasons where you won't always be doing the things that you want to be doing as such. But
or maybe a way we could say that too is what he kind of pointed out, like, to have meaning, right? Because that's his thing, was like to give these kids meaning.
Yes.
And so even if you're not like maybe the most super like passionate about
what
something,
you're doing,
but if you can find meaning in it
Yeah.
and a purpose,
Yeah.
come on.
It's just thinking about like the things that lead to burnout, genuinely,
Yeah.
and lead to like, you know, the stamina running out. I feel like
Yeah.
it really made me think about stuff.
Yeah.
So it's good.
And moving on to that, the person I'm surprised is not burnt out is Jürgen. Like,
Yeah. Wow. A million different jobs.
a million
at the
different
same
jobs,
time.
a million different things.
Yeah.
Just so active in the community, but still even took the time
Mm.
to take us on a little tour, explain
Yeah,
things, and
which is
again
really
got
cool.
personal off camera.
Yeah.
Was so great. So thank you so much, Jürgen, for
Yeah.
taking the time.
And I love that. I think like politics and that whole scene in general, it's not an easy area to just get stuck into and be involved in. And I love that he was like, he's right amongst it, you know, and he wants to be elected for a full-time role in a few years' time, and that's where he sees himself going in the future. I love that. It's like you're getting stuck into the community literally at the very top of things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of hear his story.
Yeah. And again, he really believed in, or believes currently,
Yeah.
in what his party stands for.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, you're this or you're that, or this is kind of like the party line I've chosen.
Yeah.
But when he was talking to us, he was so passionate about the beliefs and the stance and
Yeah.
and I was like,
it's great,
like that is what keeps you going then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is like you completely believe in what you're doing and you see the value and the purpose of it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And
Wow.
like I asked him the question, I put him on the spot a little bit, but just the idea of like how do we multiply what we have and the passion that we have of wanting to make the world a better place, you know, if we want to phrase it like that. And I think that's a really, I don't know, it's kind of stuck with me. I've thought about this a little bit because I think it's going beyond like me just putting something into the mix. It's also like, how do I multiply what I've got in me to others to make this a better place? Because I myself can't get it done. You know? So we have to be collective in this. And I know he's really, and bring people in. Yeah, for sure. So just thinking of ways I could be doing that, you know, not just with the church, but also
With
outside
everything.
the church. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, something to food for thought.
It is food for thought,
Yeah.
is it not? Yeah. Amazing.
Brilliant.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed those interviews as well. We've got some more content coming at you from Norway, so stay tuned.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, guys.
Until then, where can they find us, Zach?
We are on YouTube, all podcast platforms, Instagram at The Anchor of the Week, and obviously TikTok as well.
Obviously TikTok.
Yes, always TikTok at the very end of things.
Yes.
But yeah.
Again, thank you guys for joining us here on The Anchor of the Week, where we attack topics, not people. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.